Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and as the title suggests, we're going to work on some Wererats some more. We started these last week. There are 5 of them, although I only ended up getting the skin finished on like 2 of them, the 2 that I got done. Something came up last Monday night, so I didn't end up really painting any. But I didn't want to bore you with more skin 2 Mondays in a row, so, well, skin slash fur, I guess. So, we're moving on. Maybe. Doing like basically, it's a pretty stereotypical leather color. Trying to determine where the cloak stops and his belt begins. This, I may need to get out a different background. We'll see. How is everyone? Y'all have a good weekend, I hope. Feel free to share in chat. Let's see. Did a lot of work on painting stuff up. Just some last few things to finish up for a D&D session yesterday. Then of course I ran the session yesterday afternoon. Seems like it was a success. I think the players seem to enjoy the session. Ended it. Basically, I got the last fight that I had planned, last encounter that I had planned, and got that finished. And stopped there. So that gave me an opportunity to kind of think a bit more about loot. They're really low level, so I hadn't really been giving them much. I mean, they've also not been. The monsters they're facing aren't going to have much on them. Or rather, NPCs. But this last fight was definitely pretty big for their level anyway, and they definitely made some really good progress in the storyline in general. So kind of looking at some things that would be appropriate for their level. You don't want to get too crazy, otherwise they're just gonna be OP. But yeah, looking at some stuff that'd be appropriate for their level, and maybe even like specific could help them in some areas that they've been maybe struggling in, but not necessarily like don't want to help them too much, you know, where then it's like completely taking away the struggle. So that they still have to be strategic. Especially because, like, you know, when they get higher levels, it's going to get harder anyway for the DM to really have make encounters that are actually difficult. Like these lower levels are the ones where it's really great and easy for the DM to like really kind of strike that fear in a good way, like, you know, of because it's, and especially for our campaign, it is meant to be kind of more of an epic fantasy feel. So, you know, you need that sense of danger, and otherwise it's not gonna feel very epic. So yeah, I was a little worried that it's maybe making things too hard. It was kind of like, whoopsies. Wasn't really trying to almost kill my players every time. It's second session, so far it's been every time. But I was encouraged, like, not to like pull back too much. That it's good to have a bit of sense of danger. So I appreciate like the encouragement there to and it's definitely more of me feeling that way. Like my players haven't said anything about it, other than like, you know, they're trying to find ways to get healing potions, or talking about like, hey, man, I wish I could like how a multi-class into like a cleric or something that could then give healing or provide healing. That's the only thing. Like there's just table talk, you know, like how do we get better at this healing thing? And I was glad they picked up like on all of the clues that I dropped. There was a moment where they were kind of rolling not great, and so I was like, oh shoot, I need to start thinking of maybe an alternative way that they find this such and such. I mean, I had an alternative thing, but it was based off the thought that they would actually, I guess, talk to an NPC more than they actually did. And some of that might be because it was like, you know, 2 months ago that they were like, yeah, we're going to go and talk to the owner of this shop to try and find out some more stuff. And so, yeah, it does make it hard when you're not meeting like weekly or every other week. I mean, like I've got a little document for lore as well as basically a place to kind of write up sort of a narrative that's forming. Because I mean, that is what you're doing. You're telling a story together at the table, and I like to write, so um, I yeah. When I get the chance, as soon as I can after the actual session, it's usually within like a couple days, sit down and kind of write up like an actual, more of a narrative notes. And I am excited that one of my players did draw from the deck of Boons and Banes. It's a deck by Jenny D. And they ended up getting a Bane, and I had determined that if that was the case, they would get the Bane right away, and then I would come up with an encounter that they could, if they wanted to pursue in future sessions, not the current one that they got it in, although they drew it at the end, so it really didn't, you know, they're not yet feeling the consequences. They are aware, but of what it is. How it's going to be affecting them moving forward. And then if they get a draw a boon from that deck, then they don't get the benefits of that until an encounter that I'll create in a future session. I probably would try to make it the very next session just so that it's not too much time for when they actually drew it. But then they'd get to keep, that'd be something they'd have like for the rest of the campaign. So that can get pretty, that in itself can become like a OP magic item. And I looked through the whole deck. There's a few that I pulled out. Mainly just I didn't think it was gonna fit in with the campaign itself. Or it was, I think there might have been one where it was just like, this seems like it's maybe not going to be fun for my specific players. So I think there might have been one where I just pulled it out because of that. So yeah, I got some ideas of what I think would be fun loot for them. Fun and useful. It'd be the first time they really got like big things of loot. Because like I said, they haven't really been facing anything huge in their low level. This was, they did 2 encounters which were considered deadly based on challenge rating and their levels. Which, I mean, it was. There's 2 of them that were rolling. By the end, they were rolling death saves. So, certainly pretty accurate. And that is kind of, that's what I assume is what they mean by deadly, is that, you know, it can kill. It's going to be really difficult and entirely possible that the player will die. Okay. I'm pretty good about that one. So here's the other one where I'd gotten that I'd done last Monday. At least the fur. And the paints I'm using, I've just got these two. I just have like a few different mixes of the two. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a good session. Played a little bit into one of the characters' backstories. And the person playing a rogue in our party wasn't able to be there right away, which they initiated with me. And an idea that I thought was really cool. Kind of let me be able to do a little bit of a lore drop. Although she has not yet told her character at least, has not yet told the other players. So that will be interesting. There certainly will be an opportunity to do for the group to like maybe talk a bit more. They did do some, but not much in the way of like getting to know each other. So I might encourage that a little bit, just kind of a suggestion, you know. Not everyone is like super experienced in playing in a campaign, so I I think it'd probably be good just to kind of be like, you know, you only just met each other. You don't know much about each other. And you've got some time traveling this place. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Especially the character who is now realized that, or now realized who has taken her parents. I think it would make sense for the rest of the party to kind of be wondering what's going on and start asking each other some questions, maybe. This next one, session, might end up being more like 3 months out, to be honest, because it's 2 months is going to be August. In the very beginning of August, we've got our church's, well, we do it. We do it at the church, like a tabletop role playing weekend. And it's falling on the very beginning of August, as far as when we were able to get some snakes and brooms. And tables. So I gotta work on some stuff for that. Which I am just gonna go ahead and take some. For one of the one-shots, it's gonna be these first 2 sessions of this campaign. But I need to tweak it a little bit so that there's an actual kind of a more of a big bad resolution. So I need to tweak some things. And it's also since it's a one-shot, I probably don't really need like the shop side quests. Other than the ones that were like basically in connection to the null problem. But I mean, for one shots, you definitely want like everything to kind of be tied to the story and the plot. You're not gonna have, unless it's something like that, just that group of people would do, that they would just, that they do just end up going shopping. I mean, there was one shot where we were supposed to be going and trying kidnapping Xanathar's goldfish, and we ended up basically running a kitchen simulator. Hanging out in the kitchen and cooking. My character was doing the dishes. So yeah. That was not necessarily something I was like excited about, but as a player, but other people, the other players were having fun. It was like, whatever. So silly things can certainly happen. I don't think I need a plan for that though. The nice thing with that though is that, you know, all the minis are done and painted up for that. Unless there's like a special like player character that I make for it, you know, that I then paint up a mini for. That's pretty much it. I don't know that I will do that. I've got especially because the other one shots I know will have some stuff that I need to paint up. There's gonna be one that's gonna be kind of a horror at the end. I think the person who made it kind of pulled from The Shining a little bit. It's one of the High Rollers horror one shots that Kim did, if you are familiar with them. I really liked watching them. I thought they were pretty cool. And I've got a really cool whole set of tavern/inn stuff from Bone 6, and then ghosts as well from that. I also need to see if the caves that I got, the Dungeons and Lasers caves, if that would work to build, if there would be enough there to build something for a one-shot that I actually had planned for the last event, but then due to weather and people being sick, we just ended up not being able to run it because there just wasn't enough people. So yeah, we got plenty of time for we'll get started on do the cloak on the sky. Especially once I get these cloaks painted up, I may tweak the little rats and stuff that are on him, on the ones that I've already painted. I may tweak their colors a little bit just so that maybe stand out a bit more. It is tempting to wait to even like start discussing scheduling the next D&D session for my group till I actually have an idea of what will probably happen. Some of the encounters. But I probably should just go ahead and get that scheduled. I already told him that it wouldn't be that first weekend because of the tabletop event. I think it probably would be good to still try and get one sometime that month because I know one of my players will be questionable if they can continue due to some health stuff. Depends on kind of what the doctors think is necessary and may just not be able to meet at all and not even, I mean, it's I've kind of mentioned to her that, you know, if it works out for wherever she's at, recovering at, that, you know, we could probably try and do some sessions where she's virtual, since, you know, I've obviously got some equipment that could probably work in a pinch. Mm. We will see. It will be a long-term recovery, I know that much. So it may be that the team party goes down to a 3-person party. Maybe not. I don't know. I know one of my pastors has some older daughters that, at least in the past, they have gone to some of these events, so that would be a potential of at least, like, if we can't, if the one player can't even join virtually, and we just have to like create an epic end to her character or something, and I probably would try and see if I can find someone else to join, just so that there's still 4 players, because that can get a little bit on the difficult side to keep things balanced. I've already almost killed 2 twice now. I would have to definitely pull back if we go down to 3. Unless everybody is thinking that that they can't continue and it's not going to work out for the whole group to continue. That would sort of kind of be a bummer for me, just because there's so much more to the story. This story left to really explore. But, I mean, that was kind of something that I mentioned from the get-go, like, you know, I understand, like, we can just end this at any time. You know, if we know that a specific session is going to be like the last session, then we'll fast forward a little bit. To, basically the end. Final fight. I would not be ready at all as far as minis go if that was going to be in the next few months. That's for sure. So I'm hoping things will work out for that group to be able to keep going. There's nothing that the others have mentioned, so it would definitely be kind of, I think the only reason at this point in time that the whole group would just stop playing is if more of an emergency came up for everyone else. That is highly unlikely to happen. You know what? Hold on. Trying to remember what I used for the fur. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get the colors mixed up for the fur. Hopefully tonight I can actually finish that. And go ahead and talk about Thursday's stream while I'm mixing these up. I am going to work on my husband's player character mini this time. I know I said that last week and then I changed. This time I am going to do that for reals. I really need to look up like what the race is called. It's a weird race, so I don't know what to call it. I mean, he's basically like a spell. He's playing a spell casting type class. And he's definitely, like, I should just call him like a sci-fi spellcaster, I guess. Would be rather accurate, actually. The way that he designed it was rather kind of sci-fi-y. Okay. That's at least started. And that's probably where we'll go ahead and just stop. So we got 3 of them with the leather cloaks. Pretty much done. This one might need just a little touch up on the highlights and shadows. I think got a little heavy on the highlight there. There's the third one. So yeah, and again, already stated, but Thursday come back, same time, 1:15 p.m. Central. Be working on this guy. Let's see. Probably doing some NMM because there's quite a bit. His face mask has NMM, and there's technically some buckles on there. And there's these things that are still white. Will also be NMM. At some point, I need to tidy up the freehand a bit. Maybe add a little bit more of a highlight or something. But yeah, this time I will indeed be working on that. So come back Thursday, same time. Like I said, 1:15 p.m. Central Standard, Midwest, and hit up the social links there in chat, with wherever your whichever platform you use. If it's listed there, then I am on that platform. So you can join those, see what I'm doing in between. You know, Patreon is something that's really great for helping me, like, actually financially and stuff, so I can get paid to do this. But yeah, otherwise I will see you all Thursday and have a good couple of days. All right, bye.